Okay, so this is the market analysis for this particular week. We're looking at April 25th till May 1st. So that is what we are going to be taking a look at. So, so this is the last week of April as we're getting ready to go into the month of May. And I can tell you that it's been one very choppy market. So let's take a look at some of the fundamental news that's going on for this week that will most likely move the market in one way or the other. Started with Monday, we have the Bank of Japan that most likely will be happening in the Asian session. So I'm expecting anywhere between 8, 9, 10 p.m. Eastern time, which will be anywhere between, I'm looking at 5, 6 p.m. Pacific time. We will expect to see something in regards to the Japan, the Bank of Japan, in terms of their monetary policy. And anytime you have the bank of something, any central bank of a currency would definitely be a high profile news that would move that particular currency one way or the other. So it's important that we are aware of those things, situations, because when they do happen, it's going to be a very big deal. Okay, so that's for Monday. And Tuesday, we have the Australian dollar, but also before that, we got the 10 a.m. for the dollar, which is the consumer confidence report. That may have some instances on or emphasis on the impact of the dollar on Tuesday New York session. So I'm going to assume that the consumer confidence is projected to be positive, right? So right, previous was 109, and it's expected to forecast to be at 112, and that's just the scoring. So higher the better, and anything higher than that is going to be better. So I'm projecting the U.S. dollar to be stronger starting on Tuesday, due to the fact that we have some positive news going on. Johnson and Johnson, vaccine for the COVID has been uplifted, so now they can resume the COVID vaccination, and then the economy is starting to hopefully starting to become more and more recover as more and more people are starting to come back to work. Australian CPI news will be a report on Tuesday night that will have a significant impact, or may have a significant impact on the Australian dollar. I'm expecting Australian dollar to possibly be, the same, maybe not as much, but if we don't see any change, I wouldn't expect any much movement on Australian dollar. On Wednesday, it will be the OPEC oil. This will have an impact on oil as well as Canada. Always Wednesday is Canada Oil Day. So this may have an impact on oil, Canada. And then also we have the FOMC, which is the central bank statement for the dollar on Wednesday. So I'm expecting that to also have the positive news on the dollar, and therefore it'll keep the strength on dollar to keep it going and against other currency. And then we move on to Thursday, we have another US dollar impact news, which is the GDP. So GDP is at 4.3 where it was at, and it's projected to be at 6.5. So anything in regards to the GDP report to be good, it's always going to be so. Actual greater than forecast is good for the currency. Just keep in mind there. So if the actual is greater than forecast, it's good for currency, and I'm expecting it to come out pretty good. So it's already high, which is better than previous GDP report for the dollar. And of course, if it just comes in right at that amount or higher, it's going to really strengthen the dollar, and it's going to shoot up against any currency that may be the quoted currency. And then we'll taper off the week for Friday, which Swiss francs. So I'm expecting Swiss francs and euro to have some significant report, and that will impact the both Swiss francs and the euro currency during the London session. So that's it for the fundamentals. Okay, let's take it to the charts. Let's start with Euro USD. This is on the weekly chart, and as you can see, Looked like it was going down in a channel. This is more of what we call a daily, I would say more of a wedge pattern. So this is kind of a wedge pattern. So it'll go up higher, higher, higher lows, higher highs, and then it start going into a range here, range here, range here, and then it goes up. Now, most likely what normally happens when you have currencies like this and it comes up, it most likely comes out, bumps, kind of retest, and then it keeps going, right? This right here is basically the weekly resistance level up here. So anytime you have something like that happening, that is most likely expected to break out. Now, if the US dollar strengthen over the euro, that will definitely keep this particular pair in a much longer range. So when that happens, what I'm talking about is basically what that would look like is that this currency could come up to this range and then bounce back up and then continue down in this range, something like this, before it comes out. Okay, so that is the Euro USD. Now let's go to Pound USD. So the Pound USD, this is a weekly chart again. As you can see, it's been one range in market. So basically, it hasn't really done much in this area. It's been kind of like in this area, kind of bouncing, hitting that resistance, coming down to this support, and it looked like it's on its way up. And I'm expecting to not go any higher in this particular resistance area and then come back down, especially if the dollar's strength over the pound, which is expected. I would expect this to come back down and retest the low of the support area right here. Okay, so this is my marker right here for the support area, which is having a hard time breaking. And this is basically the zone area for the resistance, which is continuing to play in within this area, which is the reason why the market has kind of been choppy. And this is basically, like I said, this is a weekly chart. So each one of these candles is a week. And if you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, I mean, the last 4 weeks, it's been really within this range after it came down for the 4 weeks prior. So they basically, it came down in March, and in April, it's kind of been like it's stuck in a range. And I can see this coming back down and maybe coming one more before it even breaks out. So it's been a really, really choppy market in the pound USD. So that's kind of a range. If you go down to the 1 hour though, there might be a trade opportunity here. And if you can see, I got my market here in regards to the flag pattern here. And this is kind of, like I said, this is a kind of a bullish flag pattern. It kind of goes up and then it kind of goes down in a bearish move. So it at this point, like I said, if the longer the dollar remains strong, I can see this coming right back down, coming back up, and then continuing down this range before it breaks out. Okay, so that's the pound US dollar. So going back to the weekly, let's go to the next odd USD. That's another dollar currency. This is the weekly, and as you can tell, this thing also been in a range. It's one choppy market. So this is right here. This is the resistance. This is the support, or what I say, this is the more of the resistance area. And we go ahead and remark that again. So this is more of the resistance area, and this is your support area. And if you can tell, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For the last 2 months, it's been up, down, up, and I would expect if the dollar currency, again, if it gets stronger, guess what it's going to do? Yes, because the dollar is the quoted currency, it's going to push down against the base currency like odd USD, and you got Euro USD, and then you have Pound USD, NCD USD. And we'll take a look at NG USD in a minute. But as you can tell, this is basically in a range again. All the dollar pairs, for some reason, it's been one funky, crazy market in terms of ranging, and not really showing one direction or the other versus a trend. So we got the support here, We have the resistance here, and I'll be looking for the dollar to come back. It may even come up a little bit, but I'm looking for the market to come back down, come back into this area, and then retest the support area to see if it's going to be able to break out or come back into this range. So if I was a betting man, I'll be looking to short this right here in regards to the resistance, because I'll be expecting the dollar currency to get stronger in this particular pair as the quoted currency to push down price. With that being said, let's go to NCD USD. That's another dollar currency with the USD as the quoted currency. And as you can tell, this thing right here went up. It hit the resistance level and it came right back down. And what it did, it just created basically a low support. And right when it hit that, right off this, let me see, what moving average? I think this is the 40 moving average. And right after it hit that moving average here, it's starting to come back up. And I can see it maybe coming about right there and possibly retest that. But again, I'm expecting, or I'm betting on the US dollar to become stronger in the quoted currency section of each pairs and be able to push back price. So I would expect to see price to come back and retest the support level to decide if this is going to be a breakout or a continuation of another trend. Now, look for that in the daily candle in the formation, because if you're able to catch that, we're looking at some very serious pips. We're talking about 266 pips, just even on that. For example, if you go down to the daily candle, right? And let's say, let me take my marker here and go down to the daily candle. And you can see where the support level are being pretty clear here in terms of where the support level is at. I mean, the resistance, and this is the support level. So you got the resistance here, you got resistance here. This is more of just a peak. And then you got a resistance here. And you're basically at that same place right now. And you can see on the daily candle, the last 2 days, 3 days, it's getting kind of in the range, but the last candle on Friday when it closed bullish, right? So I could see it coming, maybe coming up to test this, or basically coming back down and retesting that. And again, this is in a range. This is one nasty range that has been in, and that's what's been happening with all of the dollar currency pairs, basically for a lot of the markets overall. Okay, so let's move on to USD Cad. So if we move on to USD Cad, let's go to move on USD Cad, go to the weekly. This has been one bearish move, especially when it's been making that move from the CAD news last week. And if I was to draw a trend line, this is what the trend line would look like from here. Also a trend line here. So, but it's having a hard time breaking this low right here. So this low, let me see if I can draw a straighter line here. It's having a hard time breaking this low right there. And I can see it, if it's not going to break it, it is definitely going to come back up. And I can see it doing this, and then boom, take off, right? And in this particular case, the US dollar and the USD CAD, the dollar is the base currency and not the quote currency. So if that means if the base currency, that it could push up, right? And I don't see CAD being stronger than the US dollar this week. And I see it, I would want to buy here and buy and take this chance of a market going up. And as you can see, this is a strong support level here, strong support level here, strong support level there. And it hasn't been over in that price in that area since September 17th. We're talking prices way back in 2015. right? So I can see prices coming back to, retest this area here, even to retest this area here, right? So this would be my TP1 area, and that's a good move. If you're thinking about that opportunity to buy that, we're talking 584 pip move into that area that I do think in the long run, USD dollar CAD, the US dollar is going to get stronger, and it is going to bounce back off of this. So that is my projection on what I see in the market for the USD CAD. So let's go to the euro, one more euro pair, so a couple euro pairs. Let's go to euro pound. So if you go to euro pound, this is on the weekly, and you can tell that it came down and it basically hit this area right here of support. So this is an area of support, and area of support here. So when it hit that area, you can tell it bounced right up. So I'm expecting this to go right back up to where it's at or where it came in. So it basically came down and came back up. I'm expecting it to come back up into this area over here of resistance. Now let's go down to a smaller time frame in terms of the hour. It looks like there's a pattern that being formed here. And go to the hour here on the euro pound. And as you can see here on a euro pound, it went up. After it came down, it bounced off of this area of low support here. And then it came back up, and now it's creating a, what you call a bearish bullish flag. It's coming down and bounce off of here, a touch there, a touch there, and now it's coming here and it's hitting this resistance. So I can see it coming back down, right? And I don't see it, being anywhere more here. I'll be looking to buy right there. If you wanted to short it and take a counter trend, I think that would be a good move. If we're talking about a 51 pip scalp move, but I would be a better man to say, listen, this just look like it's going to hit this area somewhere around here, maybe even somewhere around in this area right here. And then it's going to take this bad boy up. Now, obviously in this area is where you want to look and to make sure that your stochastics or your RSI is in the buy zone, which is in the 20 or over, what they call oversold, and then looking at the currency strength to be able to confirm with confirmation that this pair is definitely going to be going in the upswing, right? So that's what it looked like from the higher time frame. So that's euro pound. Let's go to euro yen. The euro yen, this is on the weekly, and you can tell it's been going up, it's going down, but it looked like it hit this resistance area, support area, and it's giving you now a bullish pattern going up. But it looked like it's having a hard time in this area here to, even though it has room to go up, and it could, right? It could go up, but it would have to break that area of resistance. And let me show you what I mean by going down to the daily time frame, right? So apologize for that. Let me go ahead and go back to euro pound and go down to the daily. And you can see it's creating some type of what they call a kind of a wedge pattern here. And this is kind of a bullish pattern. You can see where it comes up and hit this, and now it's getting narrower and narrower, and it's doing one of these, right? But in this area, it's having a hard time breaking this level of resistance. And you can see where it touched there, came back down, came back, it touched there. I can see it coming up one more time. Now, if it does break, then we can see this bad boy creating. But if it doesn't, and it doesn't look like it's going to break, it could come up, and then guess what? Come right back down here, and then it could break. So this area is where I'll be looking to see what price is going to do right in this particular area. To be honest with you, I'd be looking to short this. But of course, I would want to see what happens. If price does breaks this, then I'll be looking to obviously buy it. But if it resists this one more time, then I'll be looking to sell this. And like going back to the higher time frame, this is in an uptrend. It is clearly in the uptrend, but it's having a hard time breaking that level of resistance here, and it's it stopped creating a higher high. So it went here, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. It came down and another high, but not so much a higher high. So it's stalling. So this area, it would be a significant area of where price is going to go. So I am neutral on euro pound, but I'm looking to short this from the high. Um, you know, given the fact that depends on what the other confirmations and confluence that I use with stochastic and RSI and the currency strength to make sure it does take a reversal pattern down to come down from where it's at right now. So this is where I'm looking to particularly short euro pound. Let's go to pound yen. No, that was, yeah, euro yen. Let's go to pound yen. So pound yen is at its high, and it looked like it's coming back down. So I believe it or not, I am bearish on the pound yen. It came up, gave it a high, came up here, came in a high, it came back down, trying to give a high, and it gave a nice little pin bar here and a market pattern that says, listen, this area right here is of significance in the support area. If now it could range, it could come up and it could retest that and it could come back down. So if it doesn't break and it comes back up, then you would have to try to play within the range if you want to. And this is not a bad trade. We're talking, 338 pips playing into this range, but you're going to have to be careful by playing off of, the stochastics and the RSI when you're trading the range. You want to go ahead and buy low and sell high. And it's still money that can be made in the market, but you're just going to have to be able to be careful and making sure you're using other confluence tools. And if you got the easy triple dot trading system, which is part of our system, you can be able to catch this on a lower time frame. I would even take this down to the 4 hour, and depending on if you're scalping or if you're day trading. But if you can take it to the 4 hours, you can see where it's coming up. I mean, it's coming down, coming up, it's coming down, coming up, coming down, and it's in slightly in this little range here with where price is going. It's playing within this range here between the resistance and support. So this is been one choppy market again, and it's been creating a lot of opportunities in terms of, scalping between this range, but we definitely got to be able to see where price is going to go here or price is going to break out in this area. These would be the two significant area between the two zone in terms of what market is going to do next. It's going to either going to go up and break out, or it's going to go down and break down. Okay, so that is for pound yen. So let's look at USD, the dollar yen. Let's go to the weekly, and let's take a look at this market. So you can tell that the market had basically bounced off of here about last month. And this was on, basically January. Believe it or not, this rally started in January of this year, and it came back up, and then it came down and it hit that resistance area, and now it's looking like it's coming back down in this particular area. So if you would have to go and say, okay, well, it looked like it's going to come back down. And it's a couple of areas that of support or resistance that it could hit, right? It could hit this area right here, and it could also hit this area right here. These two areas of significance will be where you would want to pay attention to see if price is going to come back and retest those areas. Now, let's go to the lower time frame to see exactly what price is getting ready to do. And you would have to, I would say, take it down to the daily or 4 hour. Let's go to the daily first. And you can see in the daily, this is definitely looking bearish. And I would be bearish, but this is my target of resistance here. So I can see it coming down, maybe coming back up, playing this a little bit before it breaks down, or it can stay within this range, right? So this is where price is looking at, but this is my target number one area right here, and this is my target number one area here. Like I said, we have to be able to be careful, because if you want to play with this range, this is your area where you want to be looking to see what price is going to do if you wanted to take it and go long, right? Let me bring this up right there, okay? That's where price is kind of where it hit and go to the left. You can see a lot of reactions in price here in this area. And like I said, this would be the next area of key support area, being supported by past support. And you got support here, you got a lot of supports here, a lot of supports here, a lot of support area, and that would make it a significant area of target to trade if the market continues to come down. If not, and if it bounce up back up, and then this will be the area of resistance that you will want to be a kind of aware of to see how price is going to go. It had a difficult time breaking this area, which was, basically back in March 2020, where price had a hard time breaking this area of resistance. So a lot of things can happen in here, but those are key areas you want to be aware of. But I'm looking to be bearish on the dollar yen overall. Now, if the dollar obviously goes stronger, and it's projecting to go stronger, that means that this would definitely take this pair back up to this area. So long term, I am bearish on dollar yen. Short term, and I think I need to correct myself. I'm bullish because I'm banking on the dollar to be strong, and it could definitely take this pair up. But then again, we have the Bank of Japan news, so anything can happen in this key area. And obviously, the Bank of Japan news will be first. So if the Bank of Japan news happens to be strong, it will push this pair down, okay? And then the dollar news could push this back up, right? But once this thing breaks, I don't see it coming back and up and breaking that. It depends on the impact of the Japanese yen news and also the dollar news, okay? So that is the dollar yen. And let's look at a couple more pairs like AJ. Let's go to odd yen. So this is odd yen on the weekly. Let me get rid of some of these lines here that I had previously marked as support and resistance area. So if you look on the weekly, it's coming in between this area of resistance. This is a key area of resistance, and this is a key area of support as it bounced off the support level. And it's been one range of market for the last 5 days. And like I said, this is a weekly candle. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. It has not breaking out of this high, and it's not breaking out of this low. So we're banking on what happens with the yen news. Now, yen is projected, and I will, bank on the Japanese yen to be stronger in the quota currency location. So you got A and you got J, right? You got AJ. So AJ is the quota currency, and Australian dollar is the base currency. So if the quote currency is strong, then that means it is going to push odd dollar, and this price will begin to fall. Okay, so that's how the base and the quote currency reacts to one another, depends on the strength and weakness. And if that happens, I would expect to see price break out of this zone, retest and then continue to go. It has a long way to go to come back down here. And I can see it doing that once it breaks. We're talking about another 800 pip range, and it can go into another bearish trend, just like it went into a bullish rally, you know, back in November 20th, and it just kept going until it finally hit this resistance on mid-March. And it's been in this range all of March and mostly all of April. And it's been going up and down, But I do expect the news with the Japanese yen on Monday to make an impact to state what's going to happen with this particular currency. It's been a lot of range in market. So let's go to New Zealand dollar. In the New Zealand dollar, going to the weekly here. It has not been much difference from the yen, not dollars, not Australian. We're talking New Zealand yen. Let's go to New Zealand yen. We already went over the dollar yen. So this is the weekly. So this is, again, it's going in the uptrend. But as you can see right here, we hit a level of resistance and it came back down and it hit a level of support. And now it looked like it's heading back up here. And I would say it may come up a little bit during tonight's Asian session, but then I would expect to see the yen news push this pair back down, right? And we're talking about a range of about 330 pips. So I do expect the New Zealand dollar yen to begin to push this pair. I don't see it breaking this level of high resistance here. I do expect the Japanese yen to push this pair back down. And I would like to see the breakout, to be honest with you. I'm in this particular trade now for a short, and I've been, you know, obviously I would like to see it break and go short, even though it's been on a bullish trend. You want to short when you're in a rally like this, and it did come back down, but it's coming back up, but it's having a hard time breaking it. So the structure of higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, and it gets higher highs and higher low, and it's having a hard time creating another higher highs. So this looked like, you know, basically, if you look at here from a resistance standpoint, it's having a hard time breaking that resistance. And I don't see it coming back up to even hit this area of resistance or even this area of resistance, even though it could, right? It could, but if it breaks that, then this is where it's going to go. This is the next target. And how many pip is that? We're talking about 286 pip, but I don't see that with the upcoming Bank of Japan news. Let me go to the daily. I don't see it breaking this. I got a little block here. Red block means this is a resistance area. I don't see it breaking this. I actually see this, you know, breaking this particular trend right here. And I see it, the Japanese yen news being stronger over the New Zealand dollar and breaking this particular support level here at that trend line, and then breaking this ultimate level here. This is what I want to see. I can see it coming back down, Japanese yen news coming back down, and if the Japanese yen news even stronger, and there's no New Zealand dollar news this week, I can see it breaking it finally, and then coming back. Now this is the long trend, long trend border here on this wedge here, and a flag. To confuse a wedge and flag. This is a bullish flag. It already came up to the top of the flag. I can see it coming back down, and you can see it breaking this level of resistance, and breaking that, and coming back to this area and retest this area right here. And that's a nice fall, and that's why I would be banking on. I would be shorting. I'm bearish on New Zealand yen, and that's a nice 492 or 500 pip opportunity. So for New Zealand yen, I'm bearish and looking to the break support of that area of the trend and to basically come back down. Okay, so let's look at one more currency before I wrap this up. This is going to be what we're going to be kind of be doing every week to kind of give you guys an opportunity of what to look for, some trade opportunities in terms of some of the currency pairs that I look for and that I trade for myself as well as for the clients in the FX Prosperity Auto Trade Management. For those who are part of that service, they actually get all of this, of course, on hands free, and they don't have to do the analysis. They like to get fed the fish instead of being taught the fish. But since you guys are coaching students and you guys are easy trip it out users, I'm assuming you guys want to be, taught the fish, which is good. There's nothing wrong with eating and being learned to fish at the same time if you're not part of our FX Prosperity Trade Management. But if you are, want to just go ahead and just continue to learn, just as great. It's always good to have that, the best of both worlds, but nothing beats learning to fish for yourself and be able to do this. So let's go to one currency. Let's go to commodities. Let's go to gold. Gold, if you look on the daily, and I don't like to go to the weekly. If you go to the weekly, it's been kind of like on a downtrend here on the high, and it's been kind of following this this bullish flag, and you can see it's definitely in a down structure, a bearish structure. You got lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower low, and I see this coming back up to test this right here one more time. And if it doesn't break that, I can see it coming back down. So I am bearish still. But for me to be excited about buying this, personally, I would have either bought it down here when it had a hard time breaking this area of support. But now that it's on the way up, I would have to say I'll be looking to short this right here on the top. So basically looking to sell this right at this break unless it actually breaks, right? So it could break out, but I would be looking to short this in this area right here. At the market, depending on what's going on with the dollar, obviously it's inverse correlated. If the dollar is stronger, then the gold would continue to weaken. So that's what I'm kind of banking on. I'm banking on the dollar strength to short this bad boy down in terms of gold. Look at cryptocurrency, and one particular cryptocurrency. I don't like to go into a lot of cryptocurrency, but I like to go into Bitcoin and follow Bitcoin, as we all have some form of relationship with Bitcoin. Let me delete some of this red here. So from the high of where Bitcoin is at, you can see it definitely took a significant drop in the last 2 weeks, which is currently at around $49,000 per Bitcoin. And the market is actually moving because this is the only market in cryptocurrency that doesn't close, like the forest currency and also the indices and commodity. Bitcoin prices and cryptocurrency are always trading 24/7, but it is definitely bearish. Let's take it to the daily, and you can see where price is looking bearish, right? And it's recently, I would say, just broke that area of support, and that means the next area of support is in this area right here. So this is where I would see price will continue to come down. This is in the $44,000 level. So I do see price coming back down and to continue to be bearish and retest this area right here. So if you would wanted to take advantage of cryptocurrency, I would even wait to see if price comes all the way down here, which is in the previous support area right here, and then to be able to take it back up. So my area of looking to buy would be when it gets down to about 44,000. I would not buy right now. Nothing wrong buying a little if you want to, but I can see prices even come down even lower. And like I said, it already came down here. It already retested this and then comes back down. And then I could see this coming back up. Now, could price come even lower than that? Could it come to this area right here, which is, past resistance become future support right there? Absolutely. So I would say this would be more of my zone area. If you think about it, I think this would be kind of the zone where I'd be looking to buy. And this is where I would like to see Bitcoin prices come down. And this would be the area of, support that I'd be looking to particularly buy and take this currency back up. So that's Bitcoin. So I'm bearish on Bitcoin. I do see Bitcoin continue to fall into this area of support, and then I'll be looking to buy. All right, so I think that covers basically all of the currency pairs that I look at on the watch list. And I'll be looking to post this into the Facebook group. I mean, not the Facebook group, into the community group. And then I'll send the next appointment out for you guys. And hopefully this helped you guys in terms of looking for trade opportunities. If you guys got any questions on how to best trade these from a market pattern standpoint, currency pattern standpoint, and then looking at your overall market structure in terms of market patterns, candlestick patterns, trend line breaks to take advantage of this opportunity, make sure you go to your recorded lessons or make sure you ask those questions in a one-on-one coaching. If anything, and if you're just an Easy Triple Trader user, or if you are a coaching student, utilize the Easy Triple trading system and make sure you trade on the 15 minutes, but using the higher time frame. If you're day trading, or if you're swing trading, enter on a 1 hour using the daily time frame chart to take advantage of the Easy Triple trading system of how to enter this market and get pips. Okay. So with that being said, folks, I'm gonna go ahead and close out the call, and I'll put this recording on. And thank you for showing up or watching the recording. Bye-bye.